Two-headed mutant rodent.
How's it going? Ready for CA review time. So, I'm going to skip ahead to this page here. So, that would be like 14, and it goes on 40, 43. So, I'm just going to go through those. And we're just going to try and get through this. And Colt's in here to help us out. And we're in his room. We're invading his space. It's almost bedtime. So we'll see if we can get through this quick. So, number 14 says Bactrian camels, dromedaries, llamas, and alpacas are all members of the same taxonomic family, Camelidae. Members of this family all have two toes, no hooves, true canine teeth, and a split upper lip. The family Camelidae originated in North America. The physical features of animals of this family and the family's geographical origin provide evidence that all these animals, what? The answer here is going to be H, have a common ancestor, basically because they all originated from the same place and they have very similar physical features. They probably came from a common ancestor. So I know I kind of move around a lot, so I won't keep that on my lap. Next one, 40. In 2010, scientists excavated a skull fossil that provides evidence of newly discovered species of big cat. Based on the evidences, scientists hypothesized that big cats branched off from smaller wild cats about 6 million years ago. Which of these resources did the scientists most likely rely on to form their hypothesis? So this is another one about like comparing to see how related things are. And the best answer for this one is going to be H again, the fossil record. So showing fossils that have similarities between these organisms, and then also DNA comparisons of big cats and the smaller cats to show that they were related. The next one, 43, talks about these lizards, how there are some different species of lizards on these islands, and there's kind of this theory that they all came kind of from somewhere. So where did they come from? Where was a common ancestor possibly found? This one is C. The common ancestor of the lizards probably came from Africa. All these islands, it tells you, and it shows you on the map, and I know the map's crummy, but you can see they're all off the coast of Africa. And so it's kind of like the Galapagos Islands, depending on which island they landed on, they changed over time to be best adapted for that. So, moving right along, looking at 25 now, another one that has the map, okay. It talks about zoographic regions are characterized by the presence of specific groups of animals. These regions are determined by the taxonomic or phylogenetic relationships of animals. The map shows the zoographic regions proposed by naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace in 1876, and he shows all these physical barriers that he are everywhere. So what are you doing? We're trying to do. You can be in it, but like, why are you showing the Crocobatarilla?
Wait, that's what it's called?
No, yeah, his name.
Crocobatarilla.
Thanks to Andrew Barclay.
Is that a bat?
Looks like it has a bat in it. Anyway, so for 25, the answer is going to be A. Let me finish this, man. Come on. The answer is going to be A. The similarities of organisms in which two areas are numbered above provide the best evidence for common ancestry. Well, if you look, A has 1 and 2, and there's no physical barrier there. There's no line in between 1 and 2. So those obviously could have a common ancestor because they could actually get to each other. 38. The next one down with the mollusks. The answer there is going to be F. The mollusks were well adapted to their stable environment. Something happened, and it's kind of like what we always talk about in class. All of a sudden it gets cold. Well, if you've got fur, naturally you're going to do really well. Something happened that selected for these larger mollusks, and so they're the ones that started doing better, and that's why you see only the larger mollusks there. On the other side, number 5, the cladogram. Okay, that chart there, that one there. All right, now, in a minute. The cladogram shows evolution of land plants as indicated by fossil records. So which discovery would challenge the validity of this cladogram? So the cladogram works like this. The further down you go, the further away it is, and it shows characteristics kind of that branch off and start new things. So please don't do that, Colt. It's very distracting. The answer here is going to be D, a fossil of a fern more than 425 million years ago, because there weren't ferns back then. So if there was one all of a sudden, then that would screw up the whole cladogram. 23. A prey population consists of individuals with a variety of running speeds. The adaptation that allows for some of these animals to run fast would be an example of natural selection if it helps them what? Well, remember, natural selection is all about increasing your reproduction and being able to reproduce and pass those good traits on to your offspring. So D is the only one that talks about that. It reproduce and increase the frequency of those genes for running fast. Yeah.
You can't be in my room. It's bedtime.
Oh, really? Who says?
Mom.
Mom.
We're learning about this in 5th grade.
Well, no, not actually this, but you were learning about the carbon and oxygen cycle. This is evolution and taxonomy.
Didn't you talk about this last year?
Maybe. Yeah, I talk about it pretty much every year. It's the story of my life. It's like a broken record every year. I just say the same things over and over.
This is a really good
Alright, so 54. We're just going to start going through these, and we'll probably go over them in class because
it's our bedtime.
Well, no, that doesn't have anything to do with it. 54.
And you're in his room, so you can't be in his room when he goes to bed.
54 is H. They're not attacked by most predators and are able to reproduce successfully. Hey, there's that reproduction thing again. 51, underneath that one. Scientists around the world use a standardized taxonomic system. Why would scientists want to use a taxonomic system that is standardized? Well, the answer is going to be A, so you don't have confusion. 18. 18 describes an organism, and it wants you to know kind of what family it's going to be in. And it's going to be in the amphibia, so that's G. Over to 37, that's pretty much a standard dichotomous key. You guys did really well with those, so I expect everybody to do fine. The answer there is A. Number 5, underneath that is one of the harder questions that I've maybe ever seen on a STAR test. So we'll definitely talk about that one, but the answer is B. So remind me in class, we will look at that one tomorrow. All right.
Y'all during the STAR test?
Oh, man.
Oh, good luck.
Number 11.
They can hear you now.
Yeah, and they can hear you too, interrupting, because I'm trying to get through this.
Nicole's interrupting too, I can Kate.
Number 11. Using a light microscope, student identified the following characteristics of 4 organisms found in a sample of pond water. Based on the observation of the student, which organisms most likely belong to the taxonomic group. So you're looking at it, and which ones are bacteria? No nucleus. So 2 and 3, no nucleus, no nucleus. So that's going to be D. 32 is going to be F. Number 2, underneath that then, about the flu. We've gone over these in class, so y'all should remember them. But 2 is J. 36 over there, that wonderful picture that you can't see at all. Remember, bacteria don't have membrane-bound organelles, and viruses don't either. So 36 is J. And then 14 is F. And then last but not least, 16 on the back side here, the one about bacteria and how they help us digest. That is going to be G. So, that's it. Some of the ones I didn't talk about much and just kind of gave you the answers. We will talk about later. That's it. What do we have to say?
Dab.
Deuces and I dab. Deuces. Oh no.